Hi guys, and welcome back to the bait building workshop. It looks a bit different. We have got a other angle. I actually put in a new desk that we've got a little bit of space to play around with, and this is going to be a airbrushing table. And the table that I usually use is right over on my side here. You can't see it, it's out of the frame, but it's going to be for a little bit more harder works, metal works, everything that's a bit rougher. And this is going to be the main bait building and airbrushing table. Um, I'm actually still going to color this a bit different, and I'm going to 3D print a storage and mounting system that I can sort all my airbrushing stuff in, but I'll take you guys with on that process anyway. And I've got these cool rails that I can still mount some lights, and I don't know if you can see it, I've got my UV lamp already mounted, just played around a bit and try to see how the rail mounting system works and everything. And today we're actually going to do something really cool. I'm going to do my first soft bait. I'm going to take you guys with. If you haven't seen the video of last week, I'll drop it up here or there. We had a unboxing of LURIQS. I actually pronounced the name wrong in the last video, so sorry for that. It's a easy soft bait casting set where you can make your own soft baits with a 2-component lure gun, it's called, and we're going to be seeing how well this works. You can harden it on two ways. You can leave it at a room temperature around 23 degrees for about 60 minutes, or you can pop it into the oven by 80 degrees for I think 8 minutes. But I'll anyway go through the manual with you guys, and then we'll cast our first bait. We're going to do something easier today. Well, easier, I've never done it before, so we'll see how easy it is. We're going to do a 3-color bait, and as you see the form, I prepared it already. We're going to mix up everything we need, add some colors, some glitter, and then we'll get going, and I'll set you guys up to the desk. I've got some syringes, and we're going to be adding everything in, and then we'll see how well it works. So I'll set you guys up. It's anyway going to be also very interesting because the most soft plastics or plastisols, you need a microwave, and the microwave produces fumes that aren't really good for indoor usage. So we're going to see if there are any fumes that develop, or if this is a more home safe version if you are doing it in your flat, or if you don't really have a workspace where you can do it. I also only have a window in my cellar that I always keep open when I'm airbrushing or when I do something like this. So I'll set you guys up and we'll see how it goes. So we've got the instructions in front of us. As I said in the last video, it's German, so we'll just go through step for step and I'll tell you guys. The first thing is they tell you that you should cover your workspace with paper or with some baking paper that you can then transfer it to the oven, and it just keeps your workspace clean and makes a mess-free lure casting experience. You should also use baking paper on your, or a heat resistant inlay for your, if you do it in the baking oven. Then you should set your baking oven at 80 degrees Celsius, and then you can quicken the hardening process of your lure itself. You can also harden it, that is the 5th part, you can harden it by room temperature, as I said, but it will take around 60 minutes. And then you can, they've got a separate instruction for hardening out, but we'll get to that as well. Then first thing you do is you place the 2 form halves together, just like that. And once you've got that, you can take your clamps and place the clamps that the form holds and that you don't have any leakage during your casting process. So we've done that. The next thing we're going to be doing is getting the injections ready, getting the oven ready if you do it with the oven. And then you can see, okay, the lure gum, which are these two components, are going to be mixed 1-to-1. So we have got a form. You can Google all the forms they have got on their webpage. We have got a form that is recommended with 5 grams of their material. So it will be 5 of the one component. Oh no, that's just them telling you what it is. There's actually going to be 5 grams in there. Then we will just be using as much rubber as you will be needing for the form, because you want to keep it anyway. The colors, you can put 1 drop in. They are quite strong, so we'll see how the color changes. That's why we've got these mixing sticks and a little cup. Then glitter as well, we've got some here. We'll also be quite gentle with that. And then yeah, pretty much we'll just wing it and see. You can harden it by room temperature for 60 minutes or by 80 degrees for 8 minutes. And you should be careful once you take it out of the form that you don't rip the segments, because the segments are quite thin, so you don't want to damage the lure while deforming it. So that's going to be pretty much it. And now we're gonna get ready. I'll get a scale out, and we're gonna do a little bit of a color mix. So I'm gonna prepare these 3, once with blue, once with green, and once with the silver. So we'll be doing a clear belly with the glitter. That's going to be the first color. I'm going to be adding a little bit more of that. So we'll be doing 2 grams of the belly, and then we'll do 1.5 of the blue and 1.5 of the green. So that's going to be pretty much the ratio that I'm going to be aiming for today. And I'll get on weighing them, and I'll take you guys with. So now I prepared the syringes, I put the needles on. We'll see if we are able to draw the lure gum once it's mixed through these, or if it is too viscous. So that's going to be then to see. And now I take my component A, and we'll put in a gram of that. Then we'll do that is going to be for the first component. Now we're going to put on the next, and we'll take again our component A, and now I'll put 0.75 grams. That's going to be the second component. And then we do the same again for the third color. So now I've got our component A, and now we'll go over to our component B, and we'll straight away take this one, and we'll see that we put in exactly the same amount again. So we'll go for another gram, and then we have to be a bit quicker. So that is the first component. We'll then straight away place that into our lure before mixing the next one. Now I'll get some glitter in. Go ahead, mix that up. Then we'll go ahead and pull everything down like this. Make sure it's really mixed thoroughly. And then we'll go ahead and see if we are able to draw it up through the syringe. Nope. So we'll have to do it without the needle, and we'll use the needle when there's maybe no glitter in, or get a little bit a thicker needle. So now I'll go down in there. Drop the first color, and then we'll place this here and make sure that we just do that a bit. That was not ideal. And then we'll just take this needle, make sure that all the bubbles and everything go out. We'll maybe pull that out still a bit here, and a little bit here. So that's going to be the first color. I might have made a bit too much, but we'll see how it looks. So now I'll set this off, then the first skin color comes, and now we'll go ahead and make the next component. So it would be easier if the forms are a bit bigger, but I think that this is for pike, trout, and that's why the form itself isn't too big. The next color is going to be a drop of green. Let's see how intense it is. So the colors are really strong. As you see, there was really not a lot at all, and it really comes out quite strong. So I'll go ahead and get everything to the side again. Grab the next syringe. And now we're just going to add the next layer. Like that. I'll also give an update on how easy it is to clean these caps, because I would like to reuse them, but once it's hardened out again, it might anyway be easier. So now I'll set this off again, and then we'll grab the next and pop in that, get the next color. We know that they're quite strong, so I'll just be doing a little drop like that. Now I grab the last syringe. And now we go ahead So there we go. Now you see there's still some air bubbles along the way, and we'll just hit them just like that. There's a little bit of overcast right here, but we won't really mind that because you can anyway clean it off then afterwards. So we'll now set that off to harden, and I'll get you guys back once we start demolding the whole thing. So welcome back. After the hardening time, I put it into the oven. I don't have a oven. I wanted to actually get a micro oven for the workshop. I wasn't too sure if I want to jump and pull the trigger on that investment and get a new one, or if I get one second hand. So I'm still looking around. So I popped it into my own oven quickly. There were no fumes, but I'll get into that in the outro. Now we're going to try and see how easy it is to get it out of the mold itself. So we see we've got a little bit of over pour along the sides, which we will just clean up roughly like that, and I'll go ahead. So it seems hardened out already, which is cool because that was not long at all. And now we'll just be very careful. You see that there was a little bit of leakage along the lines, but nothing tragic, nothing ended up in the oven itself. And now I'll just have to be very careful while opening up the form. So this is a little bit tricky, but it's still a bit warm. I'll be very gentle with it. Try and so we ripped a bit of the tail, sadly. So the paddle tail itself didn't demold as well as we wanted it. You can see there is still a bit in there. The form itself is quite easy to clean. You just go over like that, and maybe I also was too impatient with getting it out, but I'm still quite happy with the result itself. We'll clean off the edges with a knife. I think you actually have to see that you don't over pour it too much, because you end up with a little bit more cleanup that is not too cool, but we'll see how that goes. I'll clean it up and I'll get you guys back for the outro, and I'll show you guys what we're working with. Hi guys, and welcome to the outro. As you saw, we made our first soft bait today. It was actually not that bad as a process. I like that you don't have to use a microwave, you don't have any fumes, you don't have any vapor or anything. It's very, you don't actually smell anything. It's odorless. I also put it in the oven, and you don't have anything developing. You just have to be careful of the leakage of the foam itself. And I'll show you guys what we were able to make. So we've got this rubber fish, and it's called the Reaper on their webpage. Sadly, we messed up the tail a little bit because it got stuck in the foam, but we'll try next time to watch that a little bit. I'll take this one out, see how the action is. We had a lot of rain now, so I can't take you guys with because the river is completely brown. We had really quite a lot of storms. It rained through the whole evening, and one doesn't see anything. So we'll have to wait and see how the action is itself and take it out for a spin. But I'll be making some variations and also using, we've got a little bit of a like cream yellow and also this brown, and that we're going to be using for the polywog tail. I already ordered some glitter, and I'm going to be starting the design process of the tail. And I'll anyway take you guys with, and we'll just play around with it. So I actually really enjoy that you don't have to have all the things you need for getting into soft plastics if you get a kit like this, because it's quite easy to test and you can try out different lure builds. I actually thought it would really be cool to make some fins and things like that I can print myself, make my own fins for my 3D prints, and they then can just be swapped out once they rip off. And that we're going to be testing things like that, and also going into it. I find the joint of this specific lure seems quite fragile, if I'm honest. You can see it is really thin, but you've got a very nice wobble. So I'll maybe also make my own designs of lures, and we'll start casting and just test out a little bit and see how it performs, because also through being able to harden it out by room temperature, you don't have to be worried about warping with your 3D printed mold. So you can actually design a 3D printed mold even with PLA, and you don't have to be worried about the temperature warping of the 80 degrees of your oven. So things like that you can just keep in mind. We'll be testing this. I'll just show you guys one more time. I actually like the color. It's quite cool. Worked out better than I thought for the first soft bait I've ever made. So keep tuned and we'll see what the next videos holds for us. And we'll be playing around quite a bit. And I wish you guys a great one. Keep on fishing. See you. Cheers.